In the first half of this year, I've traveled to some incredible places, from Japan to Australia to Singapore, the Canary Islands. It was a huge trip, and I've been on more than 20 flights so far this year, which, needless to say, I end up traveling a lot, sometimes for fun and sometimes for work. And for each of these trips, I need to pack as light as possible, while also being comfortable on the planes, so I'm able to work efficiently, enjoy the destinations, and enjoy the trip. I've spent a lot of time thinking about the best tech I can bring on these trips. And I've actually not made this video in the past, so these are all things I haven't shared with you guys on this channel in the past. So in this video, I want to share with you the best tech for both domestic and international travel, flying, trains, whatever, buses, I don't care how you're traveling. This is what I always bring with me, no matter where I'm going. All right, so let's just get right into the video. The first thing on this list, I think you're absolutely going to love. So many people don't have this, and I don't know why. It's my favorite thing when I travel. This is a Bluetooth audio transmitter, which, let me explain, this is for airplanes. So if you've been on a plane, you have your AirPods, you have whatever you're listening to, Bluetooth headphones, but you want to watch the screen in front of you, the in-flight entertainment. Well, you can't connect by Bluetooth. So this little device right here, which is pretty cheap, and I'll link everything down below, of course, this is only like $30, $40 maybe. You plug it in there, and you can connect your AirPods or whatever your earbuds are to this, and now you can listen with your own noise-canceling Bluetooth earbuds to the in-flight entertainment, which until I had this, I was always getting the really crappy free ones that they give you on a plane that like sound like you're listening to whatever it is through a trash can. They're uncomfortable. Like, it was a disaster. And so this is absolutely a game changer for me. But speaking of that, of course, I'm always bringing Bluetooth earbuds. Now, being that I work on a MacBook, I have an Android phone, I also have an iPhone, like tech reviewer, right? I need both. I need earbuds. I need one pair of earbuds that works well with everything. And for me, it's the Beats Fit Pro. Now these check all the boxes for traveling. They're really comfortable and they stay in my ears well with the little wingtip on there, so they're great for working out when I'm traveling. They're comfortable on long flights. They have really good active noise cancellation. The sound is definitely more than passable, so it's definitely a pleasant sound. And most importantly, these can connect to both Android and iOS really, really well and integrate with both of them. And on top of that, one last little icing on the cake here is if I'm using like my iPhone, for example, and I'm watching maybe Netflix on here or something like that, I can have somebody else who also has AirPods, and we can both watch the same thing with two earbuds in at the same time using Apple's audio sharing, which is you can only do that if you have AirPods or if you have Beats. So Beats make perfect sense here. Now this next one, I absolutely always travel with a smartwatch. One, because keeping track of time is important. Two, because when your hands are full, seeing notifications on your wrist is way easier than taking your phone out. And three, because you can get this really great app on both Apple Watch and any Android Wear OS watches. And this is called App in the Air, which allows you to track all of your flights, and it shows you updates, and you can see the time until it boards, time until it takes off, time until it lands. It's really a useful app. So my go-to watch for flying recently has been the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic. I like the rotating bezel. I like how it looks and feels. Also, again, good for working out when you're traveling. But of course, an Apple Watch or, Pixel Watch, many other watches would check the box here. So this next one is very heavily focused on flying in particular, and this is a handheld luggage scale. So super tiny little thing right here. This is so useful when you're traveling. I mean, in the United States, if you're checking bags, that's great. So you can always make sure you're under like 50 pounds or whatever the limit is. Or internationally is where I've used this even more, because a lot of airlines don't measure your carry-on by size, they measure it by weight. So this is absolutely perfect when you're traveling internationally. You can change the units really easily. So if you have like a 15 kilogram carry-on limit or whatever, you can just set the units to this, weigh it. That way, if you bought anything at your destination, you don't have to worry about like putting on all your clothes and stuff like that. Just weighing this, it's so easy to do, and so that's a must-have. Now, this portion of the video is sponsored by Best Buy. I always bring a tablet with me, and this right here is the Amazon Fire Max 11 tablet, which is Amazon's largest and most powerful tablet yet. It has a lot of features on here, and I'll actually kind of dig through this. But first of all, we do have some accessories. Right now, I have a case on here that comes with a keyboard, so you can type, you can set it up in kind of a laptop setup, and you have the other half of the case acts as a stand on the back, perfect for an airplane tray table to set up a movie. I do also have a pen with this, so if you want to take notes or do any kind of handwriting or drawing on here, keep kids occupied. Now the accessories are sold separate, but this tablet in particular does have fingerprint recognition, so you can sign in using biometrics really easily. It has an 11-inch touchscreen display, so you can also play some games on here as well, make the long flights seem a lot less long. And on top of that, this should be good for pretty much any flight. This has a claimed 14-hour battery life. And looking around the outside of this, we do have an expandable storage slot. This comes in 64 gigabytes or 128 gigabytes. We've got our port, we've got some microphones on here, volume rocker, power button, which is also doubling as your fingerprint sensor. And this does have a camera on the rear if you have to scan a document to sign it. And on the inside, in the middle, which is very nice, when if you have to get on any kind of video calls in more of a laptop orientation, makes perfect sense to have the camera right there. So now, once again, this is available at Best Buy at a very competitive price. I'll have that linked in the description below. So thanks again to Best Buy for sponsoring this portion of the video. Now let's get back to the other travel devices I use. Next up, this one is more than just a travel. This is absolutely my everyday carry here. I always have a multi-charger block. Instead of having like a charging block that charges my phones, one that has USB Type A for like earbuds and other little things, and then one that has like one for my laptop, I just get one block that has all the ports on there, USB Type A and power delivery Type C. And this one right here, this is from Ugreen. This is definitely not the best. I'll link a better one down below. I actually lost my good one. Like I said, I'll link it down below. This is the one I've been carrying with me recently, but you get the idea. Something that's like 100 watts is absolutely perfect, or at least 60 watts to charge your laptop, your phones, every device with just one brick. Getting back to the phones, it doesn't matter if you're using a Google Pixel, a Samsung Galaxy, or an Apple iPhone. I highly recommend getting a Peak Design case for two reasons. One, because MagSafe is so useful at home. That's not really a travel hack. But two, because you can get this little thing on the back that snaps on. Some people like to get wallets. I really like to get this. This is a mini tripod when you're traveling with the group and you want to take a photo of everybody, but you don't have like a big tripod and a camera setup. And we've all been there where you try to like balance your phone on a backpack. This is just so much better. It's on the back of your phone, opens up into a full tripod. You can mount your phone in either orientation, horizontal or vertical, and you can take your time photos just like that. It's so useful. I've used this on so many different trips. Absolutely worth having. It's not that expensive for what you're getting, and it's also a fantastic case. Like Peak Design cases, they know what they're doing. Now moving along on the list, the next one is actually my PacSafe backpack. You've seen this on the channel before. This is by far my favorite backpack, and this is one that I've been using for quite a few years now because it offers a lot. First of all, it's a compact backpack, so it always fits as my carry-on. Like I can always put it under the seat in front of me, and I can fit a lot of stuff in there, including my laptop, some clothing, everything on this table, of course. And most importantly, it's a safe backpack. So the safe is really important there. It has a lot of anti-theft features, from like cables reinforcing the strap so no one can cut it. It has a clip on the bottom, so you could like clip it around like a park bench table if you're sitting there and you don't want somebody to just grab it and run. You do also have the ability to lock the zippers together, so you don't have to worry about getting pickpocketed. Just the list goes on. RFID protection. It's my go-to backpack for traveling, and for good reason. Then, of course, we have, I'm not going to dig into this too much, my laptop. I'm using a MacBook Pro. This is the M1 Max, just because that's the most reliable for editing for me. And I do always travel, even though I love my phone cameras, like they're great, but for videos, the Osmo Pocket just really does a great job. It's totally stabilized and it's so tiny. Like, it's just nice to have such capabilities in my pocket. I bought this one. This is the second gen Osmo Pocket. I bought it from Best Buy about a year ago, I think. But this next one's important. I mentioned like a charging brick is great, but one thing that I absolutely always use when I'm traveling is a battery pack. Now I have two right here. These are from ShareGeek. These were sent to me. Like, I didn't ask for them. They just showed up in my mailbox. And I actually absolutely love these. Like, I have a lot of different battery banks, but these two are my go-to. So we have the big one. This here is 2,500 milliamp hours, which is huge. And it's great because you can see how fast things are charging. The little display on there tells me everything I need to know. Or we've got the little guy right here, which doubles as a clock. So cool to have that if you're traveling and you want to have like a little clock next to your bed. But this one is 10,000 milliamp hours, which is really still impressive for how small this is. And with that, I also do have this little cable, which is an adapter. So it's a USB Type-C cable. It's only like 6 inches long, but we have, very important here, a USB Type-C to Lightning adapter, because like I said, I am bringing an iPhone. It's the only device I have that doesn't use USB Type-C. And that little adapter is how I can charge that. For everything else though, I have two cables. I have a 6-foot braided USB Type-C to C cable. And because if you're ever renting a car, a lot of cars don't have USB Type-C, or some rentals don't. So I just always throw in this as well. A USB Type-C to Type-A cable, so I can plug in my phone when I'm driving and still have like Android Auto and things like that. If I am checking bags, I usually travel with Galaxy tags in there just so I can always keep a tab on where my luggage is in case it ever gets lost. And then last but not least on here is the Lark bottle. Again, this is something you've seen on my channel before, but this is a really cool water bottle because it does kind of sanitize the inside. If you're traveling a lot, you can't always wash your bottle out, so having this is really great. In addition, if you're traveling anywhere where the water might be a little bit questionable, you can press it twice and it should sanitize your water. It's not perfect. It's not going to be as great as like a camping or backpacking filter. So I wouldn't be scooping up like river water with this, but for anywhere else you go, like it's really nice to have this. Your water bottle never smells moldy. It's always clean because of that UV, like the UV light on the inside of the cap. So that's everything that I travel with, but what do you travel with? Since you enjoyed this video, consider watching this one next. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.